Welcome back to Main Street Living. Hey, ladies, real quick, I know Halloween is still like 2, 3 months away, but last year, for the first time, I dressed up as Black Panther. Like, I've never dressed
Nice.
up in a superhero costume ever, and I just remember how hot it was, but I felt so muscular.
Yes,
Yeah,
Quincy, you are. You are.
really?
Flex a muscle. Let's see. You want to do it? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's some there. We can work with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I fly away?
Yeah. And there's something about superheroes, I think, that empower all of us. And our next guest is an artist. And actually, he was looking for a comic book that had either a Black or Latino superhero in it. He couldn't find one. So he said, you know what? I'm going to create my own. I want to welcome now David Heredia, and he is the curator of Heroes of Color. Welcome to Main Street Living.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. So excited to be
Dave.
here. How you doing?
Great. It's so good to see you. And I think the timing of this is perfect. Tell us your story.
So with respect to Heroes of Color, it was a project that was really born out of necessity. I was looking for some characters to share with my kids, comic book characters. And yeah, I had a really hard time finding some. So I just, I sort of took it upon myself to start creating characters of my own. And, in the process, I ended up learning so much about, so many historical figures who have made monumental contributions to society that just seem to have been swept under the rug, So it was a great opportunity to, share this culture with my children. And I mean, I ended up learning so much in the process. I was like, man, I got cheated out of so much history in school. So, it worked both ways. It worked well for my kids and for myself.
It's true. And the timing couldn't be better with Black Lives Matter. I mean, 2020, for this to be out, I think this is phenomenal. And you're empowering everybody. How do you feel
Thank
about
you.
all that?
Honestly, the beginning of it was my goal was to empower my children. That was my main goal. And my wife and I made sure that culture is the most important aspect in our household. My wife is Mexican. I'm from the Dominican Republic. So we want to make sure that we include that in everything we do. So that was my first goal. And I think I've been successful in achieving that. So everything else that happens after that is just a bonus.
Yes, inclusion is so important for kids to learn at a young age. What has the response been to your books?
The response to the books has been really overwhelming. I have to tell you, I was not expecting just the amount of support and love. And, I was on Instagram the other day and I found, I don't even know who she is, but apparently she's doing these workshops on teaching parents and children about racism. And she's using a series of children's books to sort of help ease these conversations. And in her flyer, my book is on front of on the flyer. I was like, wow, that's amazing. And that really is one of the most important aspects of the book is that it really does make these conversations so much easier, and it's digestible because it's so colorful and it's so bright. So the children love it just because of how cute it looks. And in the process, they're learning about history, and again, these are just short little bios. They're not like a fully fleshed out history of these individuals,
Right.
but it's enough to spark interest, So, I mean, the response has been overwhelming and I'm just really, really excited about it.
And we're looking at some of the pictures there of your artwork in your books, and they're adorable. It's just so cute to see that. And I know the kids are loving it. I mean, you're right. That's how they learn at a young age. And you mentioned workshops, and I know that you were doing some workshops and speaking engagements too. Are you still doing all that with COVID?
In the beginning, I was not. And I think one of the things that I had to understand was with COVID, it really did force everybody to change the way they do business. And the way that I did business before was in person with universities and community colleges. But obviously I couldn't do that. That wasn't available to me. So I was a little bit nervous about jumping into doing like these Zoom chats, and I'm a pro now, but in the beginning I was stumbling and it was so difficult and uncomfortable. But I did a series of Zoom meetings where I was interviewing other professionals and I started to get, much more relaxed with it. And then I actually started offering, doing like virtual workshops to community colleges. And I
Aw.
started getting gigs. I started getting commissioned to do these. Yesterday, I just did a
That's great.
commencement graduation speech at Year Up Los Angeles. And I'm so grateful that the path that led me to yesterday's, commencement speech was just in preparation for, adapting to this change.
David, that is so wonderful. And we are out of time, but quickly, where can our viewers go to learn more? I know, I wish I could talk to you longer.
Well, you definitely check out heroesofcolor.com. I have a lot of great, artwork and information for kids and adults. And you just quickly flashed up an image of a cover that said United by Art. And that's actually the next children's book that I'm working on right now.
Yay, good for you. And you're a rock star. You're a superhero yourself. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.